Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Hanging with the Elderlies. I am Felicia Phillips, and as you know, I'm a caregiver for my mother, Beverly, and my father, John. And Hanging with the Elderlies is all about sharing information, resources, and also a little bit of my story and the behind the scenes glimpse at what goes on in the life of a caregiver. My goal is to educate you, to make you laugh, to make you smile, but also to help prepare those of you who may one day walk in my shoes and to encourage some of you who are walking in my shoes right now. So I try to share the good and the bad, and today it's bad. Today it is bad. And so I just want to be real with you. I just want to be authentic. I am not having a good day. I'm not having a good day at all. I think I'm just tired. It's the end of the week. It's been a long week. It's been a week full of medical appointments, some that were scheduled, that it was just a lot to do in one day, others that were not scheduled. It's been a week full of added responsibilities, and I think that my head is just spinning. I think that my head is just spinning. And so I wanted to do this video because I wanted to just really give you my authentic feelings, because some of you may be in this space where I am right now. You may be feeling overwhelmed. See, that was an alarm to tell me to go check my mother's blood pressure. Some of you may be in a space where you're feeling overwhelmed, where you are feeling burned out, where you're feeling like you can't take it anymore. You may be feeling regret. You may be feeling remorse. You may be feeling all types of emotions. That's what I'm feeling right now as a caregiver. And so I wanted to talk through that a bit and also share with you some of the things that I do to help myself when I get into this space. So again, this was a really busy week. My mother and father had their first PCP appointments with their new PCP, and we loved her. It was amazing. The staff was amazing. The office was amazing. And the doctor was just amazing. Love her. I'm so happy that we connected with her. Because we connected with her, she connected us with a lot of the specialists that my parents need to see. And so instead of me being in a new city and having to do all of the research and find all of these doctors on my own, she was able to save me a lot of steps. Caregivers, you know what that's like, just trying to coordinate care and find the right match with a doctor and such. And so I'm really, really pleased with the PCP visit. In fact, my mother and I are going to talk a little bit in a different video about the importance of finding the right PCP. Yo-Yo is here with me. Come here, Yo-Yo. She's going to make me upset if she knocks the camera down, so I'm going to try to hold her. And so we had the PCP visit. And then that was actually last week, now that I think about it. That was last Friday. And then this week, we went to go see the GI doctor for my father. My allergies have been crazy. We went to go see the GI doctor. And what else did we do? My mother had an ultrasound. They did an ultrasound of her carotid arteries. And there was one other appointment. My mother had blood work. So that was all in one day. I was exhausted that day. If you follow us on Facebook, I think that's the day that I said we had pizza when we got home, because I was just exhausted. We were out much longer than I anticipated. I hadn't prepped anything for dinner, hadn't thought about dinner. And so pizza it was. And then the doctor at the PCP visit asked me to begin checking my parents' blood pressure. Now, for some reason, despite all that I do for my parents in the caregiving role, checking my mother's blood pressure has just really been bothering me. I feel like I'm a nurse, which I'm not sure why that's a problem. If I am playing the role of a nurse, I don't know why that's a problem, but something about checking her blood pressure every evening has just been rubbing me the wrong way. It may be that typically after dinner, I'm sort of done with my parents and I sort of have my time, me time. And now that I'm checking her blood pressure in the evening, it means finishing up with dinner and cleaning up and all of that. And then instead of having the rest of the night for myself or to relax or whatever, that I have to go back and engage my parents again and do the blood pressure. I'm not sure, but checking their blood pressure has really been bothering me. Um, and so dealing with that. And then again, it's the end of the week. We had to take my mother to the doctors on Friday, and that was not expected because her blood pressure was running high. And I called the doc. Actually, the doctor called me to let me know that her creatine levels were high, and they wanted her to increase her water intake and to come back in a week to be tested again. And when they called, I mentioned that her blood pressure had been running high and gave them the numbers. And the doctor said, I want you to come in and see me. And so that wasn't expected. Typically, I can finish up with my parents' medication and breakfast and all of that stuff and exercise in the morning. And then I had the evening to work on my business and studying for my certification and housework or whatever it is that I need to get done. But on this day, I had to go back to the doctors. And so that just like blew the whole rest of my afternoon. And we got to the doctors, and she had her blood pressure checked again, and she was fine. In fact, this was probably one of the first doctor's visits in a while where her blood pressure was actually okay. Another thing that they had asked us to do was, I told you to start drinking more water. So as soon as they told us that earlier yesterday in the morning, we immediately started just chugging water and drinking water and drinking water. So I really think that that had something to do with her blood pressure being in line when we checked it at the doctor's. So anyway, I feel like I'm rambling, but point being, we just spent a lot of time at appointments this week, and I just feel like I'm off my game. I have some major projects that I'm working on for my business. Some of you know that I did leave a full-time position I've had through His Eyes LLC, which is my speaking, coaching, and consulting firm, since 2018, but I was still working a full-time job. And I left the full-time job in order to be more available and to help my parents, but I still need to work my business. And the past 3 days, I just have not had the time to work the business. I try to do it during the daytime so that when my daughter gets home and my husband gets home, I can jump into wife and mommy mode. And you know, with the blood pressure and with making sure that my mother drinks water and all of that, it just feels like all the lines are blurred, and I'm just caregiving all day long. Now, some of you who are caregivers, you're like, please, I'm a caregiver all day long. Like, all I do is chase after, them, or help them, or sit people up, or take them to the bathroom, or change diapers, or make food, or administer medication, or lift them in and out of bed, and all of that stuff. And I applaud you, because I'm not at that place just yet. I can sort of manage, again, getting through medications, a little bit of exercise, breakfast, and lunch, and then they're really sort of contained. But I'm just exhausted. Bottom line, I'm exhausted. I'm feeling burned out. I'm feeling emotionally vulnerable. I feel sad. Some bit of regret. It's like, oh my gosh, can I keep on doing this? And how long can I keep on doing this? And is this all that I'm going to do? And so it's made me really just pay attention to, or focus on, the need for self-care. And so that is what I'm going to talk about just for the next couple of minutes, and then I'm going to end this. Self-care is just so critical for caregivers. It is so critical. I tell everybody, as people have told me, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So if I am going to care for my parents, if I'm going to be the best daughter that I can be, if I'm going to be the best mother and the best wife, then I have to take care of myself first. I have to remember to take care of myself first. And believe me, it's difficult. It is so difficult because my parents at times can be really demanding. Like today, they called me before I got out of bed to ask me for breakfast, and I told them I wasn't cooking breakfast, and told my mother that she can cook breakfast because I was getting ready to do what? To go to the gym. I get up at 4:30 a.m. or before. I actually get up at 4 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sundays are my days that I can actually sleep late. And so I'm not going to get up just to feed you breakfast by a certain time when my mother's fully capable of making breakfast herself. So I told them I was not coming down to make them breakfast, that I was going to the gym. And I applaud myself for that. And I want to encourage you caregivers, if you're able. Now, again, my parents are still mobile and are still able to do some things for themselves. There are a lot of caregivers who are caring for loved ones who are bedridden, who can't move around, who can't walk, who can't do things for themselves. And that's a different story. You still need to find a way for self-care, but you're just sort of in a different category for where I am. So I applaud myself for saying, no, I'm not going to do it. And this is what I am going to do. And what I decided was that I was going to go to the gym. And going to the gym was going to put me in the right headspace, the right mindset, in order to be able to be of help to them. And so I went to the gym, and the gym was amazing, and I came home, but I just still have been in a mood. And so I can sort of tell when I'm kind of spiraling downhill. And I talked to my husband, and I just told him I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. And he encouraged me. And then here's what I did. I spent some time in prayer. I spent some time praying in the Spirit. And then I went to one of the Christian books that I'm reading, and I just listened to it. Because when I get in that place, I realize that I'm off my game. And a lot of times when we're off our game, I'm a Christian. Through His Eyes LLC is a faith-based organization. Then we're off in our relationship, or how we're relating to or engaging God. And so sometimes we can be so focused on our problems, we can be so focused on what's stressing us out, what we're worried about, or what we're concerned about, that we take our eyes off of Jesus and we look at all of those things. And so I needed some time just to get some word, the Bible, the Word of God inside of me. I needed to take some time just to spend with God and just to get into that place and to be reminded that God told me that He would never, ever leave me nor forsake me. And I'm so thankful to God for that. But the reality is, it's the end of the night, and I'm still feeling some type of way. Everything that my parents do or have done tonight has been irritating to me. It's been frustrating. I haven't, things that normally I can just shake off and move on. I'm irritated and I'm frustrated. So here's another tip. I'm very blessed, again, and I know not all caregivers are blessed in this way, but I'm very blessed to have family that's supportive. And so I think that all of my family saw that I was frustrated tonight. So my oldest daughter, Kyra, when my parents started roaming around because they were looking for dinner, said that she would cook dinner. And so I'm so grateful that my daughter stepped in, and she not only cooked dinner for them, but she also made enough for me. And so we had some homemade tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. Yummy. They were absolutely delicious. And I'm so glad that she was able to step in and do that. And then I did something else. I bought a memory game. You remember Memory, the matching game? I bought that game for two reasons. To provide a brain exercise for my mother and my father so that they could play the game with us. And then also I have 3 adorable grandsons, Caden, Tylen, and David. And so we now have a game that they can play. They're 4, 3, and 2. I'm not sure if Caden can play it yet, but anyway, I bought it because they come over and visit, and I thought it would be a nice game for us to play with them, and I could include my parents so that everybody's brain is being stimulated. And so I bought the game out, and I played that game with my mother, and that lightened the mood a bit. So just to sort of recap, I went to the gym. I made time for myself. Let's say, first of all, I'm sorry, I need a tissue. My allergies are acting crazy. But I set boundaries. My parents asked me to make breakfast, and I said no, I wasn't making breakfast today. I wasn't getting up that early. 2, I made time for self-care. I went to the gym and I did my workout. 3, I took some time to pray and to talk to God and to meditate on the Word and to get some Word inside of me. 4, I took advantage of the help that was available to me. My daughter offered to make dinner, and I accepted the offer. Sometimes when you're the one that's always giving care, you're not used to receiving from other people. And so sometimes we can actually turn help away. But I want to encourage you, the caregiver, put your pride aside, put your ego aside. When help is available, receive the help. Take the help. You need it. You deserve it. You can't pour from an empty cup. And there was one other thing I think I did. Oh, played the game. Find something to do that either engages you or engages you with the person that you're caring with in a different way. And so this game was something that we hadn't done before. It was new, it was different, and it was fun. So, am I feeling 100%? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I'm very in touch with how I'm feeling, and I know that it's the end of the night now. So if I go to bed and wake up still feeling like this, I can sound the alarm and let my husband know, hey, there's still something going on here. Another thing that I didn't talk about, and I'm not actively in therapy right now, but when your feelings begin to become overwhelming and when you feel like there isn't a way out or you start to feel down, I'm a strong advocate for therapy. I'm a strong advocate for therapy. In fact, I'm not in therapy now only because I've just relocated to a new city and I have not prioritized looking for a new therapist. But I do encourage therapy. So, in fact, if I wake up tomorrow still feeling the way that I'm feeling today, I'll see how things go, but it may be a red flag that I do need to prioritize identifying a therapist and just making sure that I have that outlet. So, I hope this was helpful for somebody. I know this is not the fun and games that I talked about with hanging with the elderlies, but it's the truth. It is the truth. Right now, I'm overwhelmed. I feel like I don't know if I can do this, or I feel like I don't know how long I can do this. I don't even know if I want to do this. I do want to do it. I'm encouraged when I see some of the positive outcomes with my parents, but it is just hard. It's hard, and it sort of doesn't end. It just goes on and on and on and on. So maybe I just need a date night. Maybe I need a date night. I am traveling next week, and I'll be able to catch up with some friends and do some consulting work and some of the things that I used to do before I took on caregiving full time. So perhaps that's just what I need. We'll see. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this was helpful. I hope you don't feel like I'm just up here rambling and ranting. I again want to just be honest. Some of you may be feeling this way. Some of you may feel like I can't do this anymore and I don't want to take care of them. Some caregivers actually wish that their loved ones would die. And that sounds horrible, particularly to people on the outside, but sometimes it just gets that bad that it's like, this is my life. This is my life. This is it for me. As long as this person is living. Sometimes it's that bad. Sometimes you feel that bad. Other times it's not about you. Other times caregivers wish the person would die just because the loved one is in so much pain. So there are just so many emotions, so many feelings, so much that goes into caregiving, particularly when it's long term. I started this in 2017, so I'm closing out my 3rd year. And there's a difference between being a caregiver for someone that may have a terminal disease, maybe some type of cancer that sort of comes on and it progresses fairly quickly, and then the person is gone. And that is a whole different category. Have an experience watching someone just deteriorate before your eyes or try to fight the disease and end up succumbing to the disease in a short period of time. But when you're dealing with neurodegenerative diseases, they can just go on and on and on and on and on. My grandmother had Alzheimer's and she lived to be 91. My mother was her caregiver for over 10 years. That's a long time considering the sacrifices that caregivers make, the emotional turmoil. Caregivers are often depressed. Caregivers can be suicidal. There's so much that goes on in this space. And so, again, I just want to encourage somebody. If that is you, be encouraged. Get the help that you need. If you need to reach out, you can connect with me at info@FeliciaRPhillips.com, and I can try to be whatever source of help I can be to you. But get the help that you need. Find the support that you need. Take care of yourself. This is hard. It's hard. It's rewarding in the sense that you are taking on such a huge responsibility and being such a huge blessing to the individual that you're caring for, but it's a lot. And I get it. If there's one thing that I want you to know, I get it. I understand it. You rock. You're doing an amazing job. You're doing the best that you can. And I just want you to be encouraged. And I'm going to encourage myself. So hopefully I'll do a short video maybe tomorrow and just let you know that I'm all better. Or I'll say, I still feel miserable and I'm looking up therapists. I don't know. We'll see. But that's all that I have for you for tonight, for Hanging with the Elderlies. Thank you so much for joining me. You can subscribe to our channel. Please subscribe so that you can get all of the videos. And if you're not on our Facebook page, go ahead and like our Facebook page. We're at Hanging with the Elderlies. You'll see the videos and the talks and all of those things, our activities on YouTube. And I do a lot of still shots and resources and articles and information on Facebook. So I hope to connect with you again. Thanks. Have a wonderful day.